Good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here at the Liberty Forum. Thank you for the invitation. Now, we often hear from politicians and religious leaders or celebrities. They say, you know, if we could raise $84 billion, or if we could increase aid by 10%, or if we could provide a basic income to poor people, we could eradicate extreme poverty forever. But the answer is, no, we couldn't. Because poor people are not poor simply because they lack stuff. Poor people are poor primarily because they are excluded from the institutions of justice that enable them to create prosperity in their own families and in their own communities. Now, these are things many of us take for granted. For example, clear title to land. As you know, in many countries throughout the developing world, sometimes 50, 60, 70% of the land has no clear title. Now, if you don't know who owns the land you live on, are you going to plant an orchard or a vineyard or build a business? And the answer is no, especially if that land can be taken away from you. The second problem that poor people have is just simple access to justice in the courts. A Center for Research in India did a study, and it takes on average 20 years to get your court case heard. And it's expensive. So if you're poor, if you're a widow, if you're an orphan, you are locked out. Now, related to this issue of justice is the ability to start a business, to build a business, to be an entrepreneur. Some of you may know Hernando de Soto, the Peruvian economist. He did a study, and he set up a little sewing machine shop about 5 kilometers outside of Lima. And he got 4 student lawyers to go around every day, take public transportation, fill out all the required forms, and to register the business formally. And it took 289 days, almost 1 year to register the business. De Soto, I think, put it perfectly when he said, the legal systems are simply unfriendly to poor people. So it's not that poor people need things, they need access to justice. Sometimes I talk about a free economy, and people say, wait, doesn't free exchange, free economy hurt the poor? No, because when an economy gets highly regulated, who do you think writes the regulation? Big businesses, powerful interest groups, and entrenched bureaucracies. And the poorest of the poor lack the ability to navigate those complex bureaucracies. Now, our film is called Poverty, Inc., and it's a critique of modern humanitarianism and the dominant way we've tried to help the poor. And so despite good intentions, we've actually done harm. We've actually made the poor worse off. But our film really isn't just about policy. It's not just about tweaking this policy or tweaking that policy. Our film is really about the human person. The philosophical driving force of our film is that human persons are not objects to be manipulated or socially engineered by technocrats and bureaucrats. No, poor people are subjects. And I don't mean subjects of the king, I mean subjects as in the sense of the protagonists of their own story of development. We have tended to treat poor people as objects of our pity, objects of our charity, objects of our compassion. And we mix this sentimentality with social engineering, and then we do experiments on poor people. But poor people don't need experiments. Poor people need inclusion into institutions of justice. Poor people are not somehow radically different from rich people. Okay, I live in the United States. The reason I have an opportunity is because I can own land and I can start a business. If I couldn't own land or start a business, I'd be poor too. And so we have to stop thinking of poor people as things to be manipulated or problems to be solved, and recognize that they are subjects, they are persons, and should be the protagonists of their own story of development. Now, we often ask when we see poverty, what can we do? What can we do? And in one sense, that's good, because we need to have a heart for the poor, but we also need a mind for the poor. And the biggest question is not what can we do, but what do poor people need in order to create prosperity in their own families and in their own communities? And this is really the theme of our film, Poverty, Inc. Now, poverty is very complex, and there's no single solution, and good people can disagree. This is not an ideological approach, right, but a philosophical approach. That means we take reality seriously, we engage with the complexity of it, and we wrestle with problems. There'll always be poverty, there will always be a need for charity, and there will always be a need for human love that the state cannot provide. But for the majority of the world's population who are poor, the problem is not one of redistribution, the problem one is justice. And access to justice, these fundamental institutions like private property and ability to register a business. And this is what people need to be able to create prosperity in their own families and their own communities. So what I'm going to do right now is show you the opening clip from our film, Poverty, Inc. So it's a 90-minute film, and we're going to show you about 3 minutes of the opening. And then after I show it to you, I'll tell you a way you can watch it. So if you could please begin the film, and I'll be back in a moment.
Maquiavel disse: a razão pela qual não haverá mudança é porque as pessoas que perderiam com a mudança têm todo o poder. E as pessoas que ganhariam com a mudança não têm poder nenhum. Maquiavel estava descrevendo o sistema de ajuda humanitária de hoje. Então, quando falamos sobre desenvolvimento, devemos falar sobre quem tem o poder e sobre quem deveria tê-lo.
Tentamos ajudar os pobres. Este paradigma traz consigo algumas ideias preconcebidas e imagens sobre os pobres. A intenção por trás disso é das melhores. Eles trazem comida, calçados, cavam poços para nós e encorajam os outros a doar.
Doe agora, e vidas serão salvas. Obrigado.
Vamos acabar com a pobreza extrema. Faremos com que a pobreza seja coisa do passado. Essa é a nossa responsabilidade.
O problema é que isso não funciona.
A maneira como ajudamos os pobres precisa mudar.
Todo mundo sabe.
Deu errado em todos os lugares.
Todo mundo fala sobre isso.
Paternalismo com o qual fazíamos desenvolvimento não tem comparação com a parceria.
E ainda assim, os ícones da caridade permanecem os mesmos.
Não é só ajuda vinda do exterior, caridade religiosa, de ONGs ou empreendedores sociais. Os ricos patrocinam os pobres. Os pobres ficam ressentidos com os ricos. A cada 10 ou 20 anos, tentamos algo novo. E então, 10 ou 20 anos depois, olhamos para trás. O que descobrimos é que nos defrontamos com o velho sistema que não funciona. O nome desse sistema é paternalismo.
Pobreza S.A.
So we've been really delighted with the response to the film so far. We've played in over 50 film festivals. We've won awards actually from libertarians and from progressives. We won awards from libertarian economists who've praised and endorsed the film. And then the famous, very progressive filmmaker in the United States, Michael Moore, endorsed the film. Sometimes when I speak to libertarian or conservative audiences and I say, Michael Moore endorsed the film, people say, well, I'm not going to watch it. So I say, this is a little capitalism for you, you don't have to watch it, just buy it, okay? And we've played at a number of universities, I think over 100 universities now, and we're on Netflix, Amazon, and we were actually on the front page of iTunes, so we've been really, really happy about the response. Now, the film, as you see, is both subtitled and dubbed in Portuguese, but unfortunately, we are not on Netflix International yet, so you can't watch it on Netflix in Brazil. Now, you're willing, if you'd like to tweet them and tell them that you'd like to see it, feel free to do such a thing. But right now, I'll tell you, there's a couple ways you can watch it. So you can go to our website, which is povertyinc.org. Unfortunately, we don't have internet, so I can't put it up there. But povertyinc.org. And if you go to that website, you scroll down, you're going to see a big banner for the Liberty Forum. And right there, you can figure out, you can either purchase it with Portuguese subtitle and the English version, but also for a special offer for the Liberty Forum, and with IE, we decided that if you go to our website and you register, we'll send you a code and you can watch the movie for free, okay? So for the next 2 weeks, we're gonna have the movie for free for participants of the Liberty Forum, all right? So go to povertyinc.org, all right? Okay, so thank you very much. I'm gonna try some Portuguese. It was a delight to be here at Fórum da Liberdade. Goodbye.